holy cow, man, this is bigger than me. So I gotta be 100% every time. I gotta be 1,000% all the time. And which comes back to that place, like you mentally, myself, you and us, right? As entrepreneurs, how do we take care of ourselves so we can be 100% for other people? For me, that's my biggest battle.
I know we have somebody significantly fashionable on today, but you got good old Mark from the country and the back roads of Kentucky. But we're going to see what fashion looks like in Kentucky and how it goes to the rest of the world. So our guest today has one of the most remarkable entrepreneurial stories we've had on the show. Albert Lukonga fled civil unrest in the Democratic Republic of Congo and came to the United States as a refugee. Today, he's the founder of ALBERT Couture, Kentucky's first luxury fashion house, creating bespoke garments and footwear for executives, professional athletes, entertainers, and public officials across the country. But this conversation isn't just about fashion. It's going to be about resilience, building a premium brand, earning trust, and creating something exceptional in a world full of commodities. Albert, welcome to the Necessary Entrepreneur, man.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you guys for having me and for your time. And what an amazing place to be. You know, I'm excited.
You know what? I think we have full studios here. What I love is your studio is your shop, your store, right? And I love when people are showing up where they're working, where the activity, where the magics happen every day. So what are we looking at behind you? Is this your, what do you call this?
Yeah, man. This is here the shop downtown, so you can see very minimum inventory, and then this is where clients come in and they do their thing. You know, when you get an appointment with us, you come and sit down here. We got the bars, we got all the stuff that you could want to have or drink. And then we have all the shoewear here, which is all manufactured in Spain. So on this side, Mark, we have the clothing, okay, which is all Italian. And on this side, we have Spain, which is all our leather goods. I mean, from duffel bags, right, all the way to all the different accessories that you can actually pick from. Do you buy this? No, you do not buy this. You get inspired by this, and then we make your own items, right? And we put MP on it. Let's go, right? And then so over here, we got polos and stuff. So you name it, we make it, we design it, and then that's not my desk. That's my assistant's desk. We got some items that you can see. You guys are off in Cincinnati. So we actually have a jacket here for Mr. Ruby that just got in, JR, right? And so we have things like that. And we can be as wide as you want, or we can be as minimum as you want for both men and women. Yeah.
This looks like I'm walking into a design studio for a private jet or a Rolls Royce, but this is for apparel. Is that a good analogy?
That is a great analogy because, I mean, that was the whole point, right? So, but could I have done more? Yes, I could have. But I think it is just good enough for us to get started as an entrepreneur. Like, you know, you don't want to, you know, you at least want to have $20 in your bank account before you open up, right?
That goes away quick, doesn't it? The $20.
100%. Like yesterday.
So, hey, so we go all the way back in the beginnings. We're going to dig into, you know, this journey and entrepreneurialism and what you've built, but also, but the big question is, it's a big conversation. People always look at someone like you. Deep inside, you know the failures, you know all the struggle, right? You know that. But once you build the facade that you've built now and you develop the clientele that you've built, no one sees that anymore. Right? They see themselves from this place of struggle for not achieving anything yet, or maybe looking at a place in life where they haven't lived up to their expectations, and they look at you and they just seem like that bridge is so far. But what I always try to connect with them when that happens to me, I'm like, you all have to go back in time and talk about the Mark of 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so the big question is, how do you go from arriving in America as a refugee to dressing governors and professional athletes? Like, really, how's that happen?
I think it all starts with the person within, right? And a lot of us, we are born with that person within. But the question is that the race of life is, how do you discover that person, right? And when do you discover it? It doesn't matter. It could be 5 years. Sometimes it could be 20, 40, 60 years, right? The, and a lot of people, when it comes to entrepreneurship story, and we'll get caught up into the like this speed that we are in this lifestyle of like, hey, I want it now, I want it yesterday, I want to build a business, and I want to succeed tomorrow. But one thing that I told myself was, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, right? If it's gonna take me the rest of my life to build this, it's going to take me the rest of my life, right? And I knew what I was willing to sacrifice before, right? I even built it. And we want it all. We can't have it all. And I'm speaking as a man who's married, who's got a son already, right? And how do you balance all that stuff, right? You got employees, you got a family, and you also have clients on one side, and you have to grow and take care of yourself, right? And then as a former athlete, I've always used the term team building, right? And it's everybody's on one level, right? And it's like, okay, how can I contribute to this and this and that all at once, right? Um, my wife was willing to say, honey, you are not gonna be ever be 100% for me because you have to be 100% elsewhere, right? And you also have to be, so she understood way before I got married, which was a big thing for me, Mark, right? Having that person that believes in you and trusts you and that's willing to say, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to let you take lead and I'm going to let you grow this and I'm going to be here to support you, right? Emotionally, whatever you need. So I have that, and which I'm so, so, so lucky, man, to say. And that's the first thing I wanted to put out there. So if you are in business, finding that person, that partner, man, that's there for you, man, that's willing to just like, you know what? Even just kind of like, hey, here's some water, here's some tea. I made you some tea. Like, and you have had a long day, bad day, terrible day. Those things go a long way, right? So once you're done with that part, the other part is honestly being able to understand, okay, what do I want to do with my life, right? Not just me, but also like, how do I want to serve other people? We think about business the wrong way in terms of like, I want to create this product because I think it's cool, right? I want to build this because it's going to make me a lot of money or generate me a lot of revenue or whatever. The question we should be asking ourselves is, how can I serve people, right? In the most efficient way, right? And what do people actually need? What is something that I love that I can add, right? Into people's lives, in people's value. Like you show up, you say, Albert, thank you so much for making this type of shopping experience very efficient for me. I hate shopping. I like things the way I like them, and I want them now, right? And those things are so important to realize. And so when I've discovered, and I didn't discover fashion. I was born in fashion. I went to Kentucky to become a cardiologist, right? That was a goal. And the plan was to go to medical school and all that. But my whole life has been fashion, right, Mark? Since college, I've worn one-piece suits, and your friends will get drunk. They'll say, "Hey, man, you're the best dressed guy." Da, da, da. Since high school time, they had to put me in a newspaper like this guy dresses crazy, right? Too wild, right? But I never realized those little traits, and I had to connect the dot eventually as I grew up and I got more matured, and say, you know what, I'm gonna take a break. Let me actually see what people are talking about. So eventually I decided to listen to 80% of the individual instead of 20%, right? And said, okay, let me see what I can do. I know I'm not really a big fan of, this because I grew up around that. That's what my mom does, right? But I do it. I had no idea that I was doing this effortlessly, like, without even thinking subconsciously, right? And people noticed that, but I had to tap into that. And honestly, once I discovered that, man, that was the beginning of everything else.
Do you
Yeah.
remember thinking, okay, I'm going to make it now? Did one big thing happen? Was it meeting a certain celebrity? Was it dressing someone in fashion? Was it receiving recognition on YouTube? Was there one thing that happened?
I think, and it's gonna be the completely different answer that you expected, because when it happened was when I actually had a client call me and say, "Hey, are you busy? I know it's COVID, but I need some clothes." And I'm like, Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm a little bit busy. Let me see if I can squeeze in tomorrow. I had zero client, Mark, right? I was like, let me see if I can squeeze in
Mhm.
tomorrow and see what I can do. Da, da. So this guy shows up. He's like, he's got like a bottle of Blendens. He goes, hey man, thank you so much for having me in. And I just want to give this as a gift. And it was a small 400, 500 square feet, like office space, right? He goes, hey man, I need some clothes, man. I know it's COVID, but, is it okay if I take a mask off? So we started ordering stuff, Mark, and we're ordering stuff, and then he picked this, he picked that, he picked this, and then I went from making $50,000 or so, right, in a job, right, that's after tax, to making my first transaction with a client in front of me, which was about $27,000, right, and I was sweating, right, so I'm like, oh man, I gotta give this guy a COVID discount, I gotta do something, like what? Did that call? I was like, listen, give him a discount. I said, Mr. So the invoice is ready. He looked at it. He goes, "Hey, what's this invoice? What's this discount for?" And I was like, "Well, it's COVID, and I appreciate you for coming in." Da, da, da. He goes, "Look, Albert, if everything that I just purchased today is exactly what you told me, and it's the same value, same quality, and I'm going to get it on time, then charge me the full price. But if it's not, and you think you're ripping me off, then give me the discount, right?" And my gosh, Mark, that changed my life forever, right? One thing that I did not notice was I didn't understand the value. I didn't understand the value that I offered. And I had a client remind me and say, hey, man, if it's you're being honest with me, you're being transparent, and this is a good price, this is right, this is fine, then just charge me that. What's going
Yeah.
on with this discount, right?
Yeah. Did you have a complete mind shift at that moment? I'm assuming that's what happened because the thing is, nothing changed in the world.
100%. 100%. Nothing changed. My mental psychology, my psyche completely changed. And I never talked about prices again. I just, when people walked into my place, I was, okay, what do you need? This is how I'm gonna offer you. This is how long it's gonna take. And this is how I'm gonna do it. This is when I'm gonna do it. This is like it was so organized. And then I realized I just created an invoice and I just sent it and they just paid. Right. And it's rare when somebody goes, how much is this? Right. And I realized, I was like, oh man, like I have to understand my value, right? And then once I understood that part, then I understood like, okay, that was my big change in transactions, right? Even later on when I'm at Grammys or around all these celebrities, I like if I'd never had that moment, Mark, it I would not have understood where like how to move and make things in those environments, right? Like somebody asked me, it's like, how do you make the same decision? Are you not nervous when you're around the celebrities, when you're taking care of them? And I'm like, I'm not, because I look at them as, my mentality is like, I'm the physician, they're the patient, they have a problem, right? And then after you've realized you've solved the problem, the situation, then you go, okay, oh, yeah, you are Mark Perkins. That's awesome. You know what I mean? But you gotta do the job first, right?
Yeah.
You gotta do the job first.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you find from hanging around people that not only are wealthy but that are famous, what you
100%.
find is that if you can make it into the service inner circle where you're really trusted,
Yeah,
they look at themselves as a normal human in that circle and they only want to be treated that way there.
100%.
That's what
100%.
you because that's what I found. That's what you
Yeah.
found.
No. These celebrities, they want the people, the individuals, right? And not even celebrities, like, you got very wealthy individuals, right? New York and Florida, and they just wanna have a regular conversation, you know, you know. I had a client that I addressed, and he was like, okay, we better invoice. He was like, okay, spent $80,000 in clothes, right? One time. This is in Florida. He goes, hey, you want to have some Jimmy John's? And I was like, yeah, let's have some Jimmy John's. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's not what we expect and what we see in movies. And these guys just, regular guys, and they trust you. They want you to be transparent with them and straightforward.
So on that moment when the bill was $27,000 during COVID,
Right.
and you wanted to offer a discount because you felt like maybe it was still a desperation. This is what I have to do to get the business. I don't know how to operate in a different way.
Right.
At that moment, was it intentional that you were going after, I'll just put it out here, the top 1% clientele base? Not, and people get that wrong, not necessarily in money, but
Yeah.
top 1% in success, what they're
Yeah.
doing. Money just follows the person that you are,
Mhm.
right? The world has this wrong. You don't usually
100%.
become wealthy before you're 1% success, 1% mindset, right?
Yeah.
1% characteristics. So was it intentional that you were going to try to market there? Were you trying?
I mean, the goal was marketing. Yes, I wanted to market, right? But the question is like, Mark, how do you even market to the 1%er? How do you even know? I didn't even know how to deal with things like that because I've never even been around individuals like that, right? It's hard when you don't come from that world to try to move like you from that world.
So how'd you do it? Is it just being you?
I think just humble, generous. I use my story, man. I just say, listen, I'm the simple guy. I'm building it. I have a vision. This is the deal. And I know it's something's missing. I have enough research. I know I'm here to do it. I know I can provide it. I was very confident in my business, in my model, in my product. That's what I could rely on, right? At that time, I knew nobody could beat me at that, right? And I knew that I had enough information, a background, and like I had all that stuff already set up. So because I didn't have that 1% of that money, I knew that I had the grades. Like, you cannot outwork me, man. I'm going to go above and beyond to make sure, like, Mark, you get the stuff that you need the right way. And, or like, I would drive to Cincinnati if I have to. You don't have to pay me for nothing. Like, so those things that I was willing to do set me apart, right? And kind of, I was able to use that as a springboard to, into that world,
Yeah.
right?
Do you think that if you think back, you were always the valuable person, the world just didn't know yet? And I'm sure that you refined your skills too, but did you in the beginning, we hear this idea that you got to work for free
Yeah.
until you show and establish enough value that people will pay for it. And so, and it's more about the brand and marketing. Did in the beginning, were you doing a lot for free?
Oh man. So very good question on that. I never did. A lot of people, when they start this business, Mark, they go, hey, can I go for you a suit for free so you can do this much marketing for me? It was never that intention for me. My thing was, okay, look, I want you to advertise me, UK basketball player, so, but you're going to have to pay for this suit, right? You're going to have to pay for this. They're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Cause I mean, I'm getting offered everywhere, right? And I was like, listen, I'm the best at this. Trust me. But whenever you're ready, just let me know. So each and every person that I have fitted and I've designed for have paid. Now it got to a point where today, with the grace of God, I mean, you have companies like Apple paying for actors' clothes, right? For movie premieres and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh man, I got a check from Apple, right? That's right. Yeah, to fit so and so, which is quite interesting. But because of that value from that $27,000 experience, right? From that guy, I was moving with confidence, I was moving with great, and then my shoulders were back, chin up, right? I knew what I could offer. So I can't just walk up to you and say, this is free, right? Or this is a discount, especially if you want to get into my type of industry, the lecturer business, right? You have to, it's not about the discount, it's about the value. People forget that. When you have to add a discount on top of the service that you're actually offering, is because that person in front of you, Mark, does not think the value is with the price that you're offering. So I've always done for every dollar Mark gives me, I have to give him $3 back in value. Right? I want you to be like, hey man, this is a steal. This is a deal. So I had to understand psychologically, what do I need to do? What do I need to learn? What do I need to know in order for me to create that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made me separate.
So what do you see? Take us into your eyes and your brains when you are designing and dressing for a specific individual. What happens in your mind? You see them. Are you listening to them? Do you already see it yourself? Do you have ideas? What happens when that new client walks through the door? You had the appointment. What's happening in this brain so the world can understand part of the elite thinking, part of what it takes to be great? Because I don't think this is just in designer apparel.
Mhm.
Because you're going to describe what it is probably in your mind of what an elite human being does. But what's going on in your brain when you get that new customer when they come through the door?
So for me, it's fear, number one. A lot of people get excited, right, when they see new clients. I get nervous. I feel my skin is moving because that's an extra person, a new person that I have to prove that I'm worthy, right? It's a sense of like, hey, man, I'm here. I need to make sure that this thing is accurate. This is beautiful. And it's every entrepreneur, every owner out there, they want the best for every customer that they have, every client that they have. But for me, it's like, all right, I need to do a great job. I need to be 100% because I need to understand who Mark Perkins is, his background, his story, in order for me to create. Because I am not creating, I'm not just going to make you a white shirt because it's a white shirt. I want to make you a white shirt because, man, I want you to be like, this guy understands me. He understands how comfort, like when it comes to my comfort zone, he understands that when it comes to my fit quality zone, he understands that. And the way everything was delivered, he understood everything just for a white shirt, right? So for me, it's how do I absorb as much information as possible so I can create, I can be efficient when it comes to designing. So what do? I just ask questions, like it's random questions too. It's like, all right, a good experience would be you walk in and say, okay, thank you so much for coming in. Mark, please take a seat. Would you like anything to drink? Let's talk about you. Let's have fun. Like everything that you think about shopping, forget it. Just put it out the window. We're going to hang out today. We're just going to talk, have a conversation. But I want to start with things that you hate, right? I want to go from t-shirts to jeans to sneakers. I want suits. I want to hear everything that you like about each and every item and everything that you hate about each and every item, right? And then where you shop. Man, Albert, when I wear t-shirt, I hate this. I love this. When I wear jeans, I like this. I hate this. I have this brand that I love. This is why I love it, but they take too long to ship. And I'm just absorbing, and I have an assistant there, and she's taking notes. And sometimes we even have a recorder. That's what I do. Now, once we have that, I say, okay, Mark, tell me, what do you want to do today? How do you think today might be different? What are you anticipating today? So then you go, man, I saw some story. I saw this podcast, right? I was at the Necessary Entrepreneur podcast and I heard about this and I want to have this experience. I just want something different. That's what they say. I want something different. And I said, great. I said, look, so I'm going to do. I'm going to design you stuff, not for you to wait now for who you are, but for who you're becoming. So I want to hear more about your career, your goals and your plans. For instance, because now I know all your pros and cons of this and that. Now I want to know, who do you want to become and why you want to become that person? Because that's the person I want to design for. And that's the same thing I did for the governor, Mr. Andy Beshear, right? I'll say, look, if you're going to run for office, this is who we're going to address you for. Right? But we're not going to address you as a governor of Kentucky. And I promise I'm not going to make you look like Gavin Newsom, right? So those things are so important too. And I have to do all that research and all those decisions within at least under 5 minutes, right? Because when I start bringing you stuff, I'm like, hey, Mark, touch this. What do you think? Oh my gosh, what is that? Oh, this is bamboo. Bamboo fabric? Oh my gosh. Like, you know what? Forget about that. Look at this shoe. What do you think about this shoe? So I don't go, I think you should wear this. I'm like, what do you think about this fabric? What do you think about this leather for your shoe? What do you think about your comfort? Let me see your arch underneath your foot, right? Let me see all that stuff. Because what I do is my mental state, I remove myself as Albert. And now that I know your background story, I know your family, I know your kids, I become you. It's weird how that does. Like my spirit goes out, becomes Mark for the moment, and I start imagining you, your day in and day out lifestyle, right? Where you shop, how you travel, where you go, podcast, this, all that stuff, right? Then I'm like, okay, I'm Mark. What do I want from ALBERT COUTURE? So now I start reverse engineer that, and I start designing from your perspective over my perspective. And then that's how I do it.
What do you think? So you mentioned that people want something different.
Yeah.
What? So that's one thing. Maybe that's the answer here. But when they come in, what do you think their goals are when they come to see you? Because they are having an idea what they're coming into. They understand this is high fashion. This is
Right.
personalized. The
Right.
experience, the receipts you already have for what you've done.
Correct.
What do you think they're really doing inside their soul? What are they trying to do?
I think they're trying to find themselves. I think they're trying to, because fashion it's about it's not just putting a shirt on and jeans and going to dinner with your wife. It's how people perceive you. It's the first resume that we have as individuals. Now, when people, before you open your mouth, people go, "Who's that guy? Why is he dressed like that?" That's it. Maybe I don't like that guy, or maybe I should meet that guy, right? Because just by the way you dress, think about me, for example. I've built my whole entire business just by dressing properly and being in the right environment. And people walk up to me and say, "Hey, can I get your card?" Right? And so imagine for somebody who's already in this business of, who's not in the business of appearance, but they actually have to bring the product in front of you to show. The first thing that they need is this appearance. I tell people, it's like, you gotta look the right way. That fits your personality and your character. If you're an introvert, I'm not gonna put you into a bunch of red colors and stuff like that, because that's gonna attract a bunch of extroverts. So like, you have to understand that psychological trait, right? Something that goes well with your skin tone, your hair color, your eye color. Those things. So I don't go, "Oh, I think you should wear this navy suit because it's a navy suit." I'm like, "I think you should wear this kind of navy because, Mark, your eyes I like this color, and trust me, and right." So like we do all those research. We have a color palette test that we do in store as well. And then on top of that, what I do is I say, "Look, we're going to start small. I'm going to make you this one outfit, this one fit. Put it on, go out there. I want you to feel the experience. Once you like that, then just let me know." But my plan is to create this for you, to create that for you. But the goal is there's a versatility. Everything's going to coexist like this. So if you're colorblinded, Mark, you don't know these colors, you walk into your wardrobe, I don't go, "What am I going to wear today?" Because Albert told me to wear this and I would have worn it. So what I'm going to wear? It's like, it's a serious problem. So what I do is we psychologically organize everything that you get from us to where when you just grab it and put it on, it fits. You grab it and put it on, it fits. You grab and put it on, it fits. It's like, man, you got style, man. No, it's not about having style. It's about having organization and having the right essential things in your wardrobe. Not a lot of things, not quantity, quality, and that are organized in a way that fits your lifestyle. That's going to be more convenient.
All right. So a big question.
Yeah.
What do you do with a typical tech CEO that they wear the same color shirt, the same gear every day? Is that the biggest challenge you could face? What do you do with them?
No, so let's say, you got a guy, and we have guys like this. So I have a client who buys every 2 months, every quarter. I think every 3 months, he buys 3 pairs of boots, same color, same design, same everything, right? He goes, every month it's clockwork, just like clockwork. Boom, boom, boom. He doesn't buy anything else. So we have guys like that who are just obsessed with one thing. You can be just obsessed with jeans with me. Like, "Oh, you got the best jeans. I'm going to buy 10 pairs every month." We also have clients who buy 50 t-shirts in 50 different colors, right? Every single 6 months, 50. They wear it 3 times, they get rid of it, and we order more. It's t-shirts, custom t-shirts. Can you imagine? Now, then we have clients who are like, "Hey, this is what I'm obsessed with." Those guys who wear that one t-shirt, like you say, that one jacket, it's not about the item per se, it's about the color, right? So it's the black, you got designers who only wear black because it's convenient, right? It's just black looks good, makes you look skinnier, and it's just like, it's great. You don't have to think twice. It matches with everything that's black, done. White is the same thing. So those neutral colors, when you see guys wearing neutral colors like gray, black, and white, it's never about the items. What we do, I just focus on enhancing the quality of the product and how we're going to actually deliver that product to them, over focusing on, let's get you into a pink, let's get you into purple. That's when you lose people.
What do you think the difference is between an expensive product and a luxury product.
Luxury is kind of overrated at this point. Why do I say that? Um, when you go to restaurants, when you go to really high-end place, you see Gucci, Armani, Louis Vuitton, you see this. It's it used to be this thing that was scarce and rare, you know. Now, men gravitate towards watches, example. I got a Patek Philippe, I got Richard Mille, but so as Mr. So and so next door has a Richard Mille as well. So one thing that I've discovered is these individuals, they want an experience, they want something for themselves because now they can go to Louis Vuitton and get the store to shut down and they can spend $500,000. So the next day somebody else is going to do the same thing. And I'll tell you a story of a client that I have. He goes, Albert, I spend over $3 million in sex fit every year. And he goes, I have stylists there. They just send me stuff and I just buy it. He goes, with you, what you'll be able to do, because we did a first wardrobe, because I want every brand out of this wardrobe, out of this closet, out, and I want everything Albert Couture, right? And we started with t-shirts, we got jeans, we got hoodies, we got, you name it, we designed it, we made it. And it wasn't about the money per se. And actually, I did it at a cost. I did it like a fraction of what he normally spends, right? The same quality. This only different was I was walking into his home and I was like, Mark, take this off, right? Take that off, put this on, right? And every single quarter we send people there to reorganize his wardrobe because he throws things away. He throws things out on the floor and all that stuff, and so we go back, we do the service out of complimentary. Why? Because the goal, what he wanted to buy, Mark, was not the clothes per se. He wanted to buy freedom of mind so he can think clear, so he can focus on businesses. And he also wanted to be ready to go whenever he had to, right? And then also unique and in style and up to date. Those are the things that I needed to take care of, and that's what these guys are buying. So once you understand what people are buying is more than clothes, okay, is this guy buying time or is this guy buying appearance? Is he buying confident, right? What exactly are they buying? Once you understand what they're purchasing, it's easy for me to create things around that.
I'm sure it's a combination of personalized experience and custom, right?
Yes.
And when I mean custom, one-off, specifically for them,
Yeah.
and the personalized experience that goes with it. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, sir. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably can't say who your favorite customer is, but I know your team knows. I know you all know because we all have them. I have my favorite client that I've sold all their real estate to them. They call and he texted me the other day. He said, hey, what about Vero Beach? I was like, yeah, we're in Vero Beach, man. We have an office in Sarasota. I'll fly down and meet you there. Whatever we have to do, you tell me when you look at the properties, I'll be there. And so the goal for a top tier realtor around the world is to be your real estate resource everywhere.
Yeah.
And even if we're not licensed in a state, we have a connection that we can be there for it.
100%.
Right. And that's what they're looking for. And a lot of people think it's about the money. The money just buys you convenience, access, personalization, right? And so I'm assuming it's exactly the same in the world and the space that you're in.
100%. 100%. I think I wouldn't say the names, but you're right about that. But what I'll say is,
tell us about them, though. Tell us what you love about them.
Yeah, I think I would say in the all different ways. So, and I'll tell you, I have a client right now, and he hired us to go down to Palm Beach. He's like, "Hey, man, I got a private jet, and I need clothes. I got 2 private jets. And those private jet they have closets, and I need clothes. I need you to get on the jet. I want you to design me clothes for the jets. I was like, from pajamas and I want to come in ready to go. And then when I'm going out on podcasts and stuff like that, I'm just like, he goes, I got this plane that only goes to the West Coast, and I got this plane that only goes to the East Coast, and all the way to Paris. So I just need you. So I was sitting in that jet, and I'll just hang out and I'll just think. And I'm like, okay, let's think about weather. in this thing about season. This goes to West Coast, this goes to East Coast. We're talking about like snow, we're talking about this, sometimes wintertime and all that. And then this guy goes, so like we have to design everything from like shorts to like trunk shorts, like for him to swim on and da da da. And it's one thing I love about these guys, they have an obsession. You would think just because they've done so well, they're very successful, they don't care, right? They just hire you. They're so detailed oriented. They're like, wait, the shirt that you made me last year had a different color like this, but why is this one like this color like this? And you gotta explain yourself. So you gotta, what made you this color because of da 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 da. Well, what about the stitching on this? This is a little bit off the shoulder. Why is this one off? The other one was on the shoulder a little bit. It's like a couple half an inch back. And so it's those detailed that you like you end up realizing like, oh my gosh, like you're designing for the most obsessed individual in the world. That's why they are where they are, right?
That's it.
Right. So with you, you have to have the same mentality.
Yeah, and I think I'm assuming you said in the beginning you were going to be a cardiologist.
Yeah.
And what I know from being around human beings, all
Yeah.
types, all income, all levels of society,
Yeah.
if you would have been a cardiologist, you wouldn't have rested and stopped until you were one of the best.
No, I think for me it was the idea of someone walking up to you and say, my life is in your hands and please help me, or please help my son, help my husband. And that mentality is like, okay, let's go. Like I am going to come in sharp as ever. I'm going to make sure I'm here physically, spiritually, mentally, like everything is aligned. Right. And then the thing about it is I want to be I would have been want to be a better cardiologist that I was yesterday. So it's always like, I always compete with myself. I'm like, let's go. Like yesterday I did 2 miles. Today we're going to go 2.5 miles. Let's go. Right. So I got the mentality of obsession and wanting to read, and I'm a big reader. So I consume a lot of information and I apply them rather quickly. Right. So with me is, yes, I want to be that one for one because I want to, like, and my dream was like, man, can you imagine doing surgery on a president, right? I wanted to be, that was the mentality that I was had. But then I just switched it into fashion. I said, okay, right. I still use the same, anatomy, theories of like, okay, the body movement moves like this. I have to create clothes that are functional. I always use the word functional. It could be amazing. You got these guys who are wearing like super fitted suit, but they can't pick up a pen, right? And then you got these women who are wearing beautiful clothes, but they can't make a move. They can't move. They can't do anything. So my goal is it functional? How is it made? Is it going to be made on time? And then if I cannot do those things, man, it's not worth it. I'm not going to take your money. I'm going to say, I'm not the right person for this, man. It's not going to work. And I'm so lucky to be in a position to be able to say that. But again, yeah, obsession is there, man. You gotta, but I don't know how you get it, man. I don't know how you get it. I don't know if I was born with it. I've always been super competitive. And now I just compete with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how you can connect with these folks. I think that's what everybody you talked about in the beginning. You prepare a lot for the client. You do a lot of research. Who are they? And I think if I go out here in the world, whether it's in my business, your business, all my friends, acquaintances, they prepare so much.
Mhm.
And that it carries across all lines, whether it be the sports analogy of, a Michael Jordan or a Kobe. What they know is people talk about their work ethic and all the extra shots that other people would take. The preparation, all the preparation, that's what shows up on the court. It's not because they were elite, talented, so much different than someone else before the preparation. And if we can convince the people that you're influencing, that you're leading, that you're going to mentor, you can convince them to do more work on the preparation on the front end. So when you show up, you come across as the individual that the customers that you want to work with you. Because if you have to give them a sales pitch, you're already losing.
No. These guys are the best salespeople you could ever be. Like, that's the reason why they're where they are. So with my concept is, and I tell my team is like, we don't sell here, we help. As soon as you start saying, Mr. So-and-so, I think you should get this because I like it. I think you should also add this because, no. I say, listen, put them in clothes, let them stand in the mirror and say, how are you feeling? Oh my gosh. I've had people cry in the mirror, oh my gosh, my wife doesn't see me the same anymore. This is incredible. She told me to come over to you. I had people, Mark, people go, hey, what I want to do is I want to be able to create something that I've never really experienced, also wasn't able to have. And I'm like, but you're buying white shirts. He goes, yeah, but I want something completely different. And I think about those things, man. And when you sit there, you go, holy cow, man, this is bigger than me, right? This is bigger than me. And so I gotta be 100% every time. I gotta be 1,000% all the time. And which comes back to that place, like you mentally, myself, you and us, right? As entrepreneurs, how do we take care of ourselves, right? How do we take care of ourselves so we can be 100% for other people? And for me, that's my biggest battle
Mm.
right now.
Mm. All right, so a couple more things here. Who's the person? You can say this if you haven't worked with them yet. We're not going to talk. Who's the one that like is your dream? This is the person I want to design for. Who's your person?
The royal family.
That's a
Yep,
hard one. You're not British. That's a hard one.
100%. And I was just at the World Cup Congo game in
Mhm.
Atlanta.
Mhm.
And I gotta say, you got Prince, like, the royal family of Monaco, Luxembourg, England. I'm gonna work my way up there to England,
So
but
so why?
I think it's what they actually represent. They represent a long dynasty of perfection and greatness, and you wanted to be at 1,000% being the most. You gotta have the right manners. You gotta have this, and it's been generation of that. And Mark, I wasn't born in it, but what I can tell you, my son, it's like sometimes you gotta create it, right? And I know I'm gonna build it for him so he can have that. I've always wanted to be that. I've always wanted to be that James Bond in in 007 movies. When I was a young kid, I'm like, man, look at that bow tie, man, look at that. He's got the right drink, he's got this, but I didn't have it. So, and thankfully, I was able to build it with the platform that God has blessed me with. And I use God second time here, and I really gravitate towards that because I can some of these things that I've done, it's so hard to define and hard to describe and how to explain if you don't believe in something bigger than yourself. You know
So
what I
it
mean?
sounds like you need to be the designer for the next Bond, whoever the next one is.
Hey, you never know. I think we might be out to something there.
Huh? They haven't said who it is yet, but Daniel Craig would have been good, but whoever the next one is.
Be careful what you say. I think I have a long list of actresses and musicians that I want to design for. This the tier top, and man, sometimes you ask yourself, you're like, man, like how am I gonna get there? But you know what? The how is not your business. It's none of your business. I think, and my father passed away last year, and he used to tell me this. Is like, Albert, never have fear and never have don't be shy, and fear and shyness are the most weirdest things to have as individuals, and they can rob you your dreams, right, and your goals, right. You can say, oh, is that Mark Perkins? Yeah, but he's eating. Like, don't go there, because you don't want to disturb me. I'll just talk to him later, and then before you know it, I go to the restroom, I come back and you're gone. So it's how do you seize opportunity within the opportunity cost, right? And how do you say, you know what, heck, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna walk up to this guy. I'm gonna go to Robin De Niro and be like, hey, listen, man, this is what I want to do with you. Like, my name is so, and I just admire you. And one day I know, and this is what I tell them. I didn't say I want to do this with you. I said, I'm gonna feature one day. That's what I say. That's what I tell them. They're like, oh man, so confident. I'm like, I know I will. I will. And somehow, I do fit them. And I like to remember that, oh my, you're the guy that told me you're going to fit me. Victor Wembanyama and those guys in San Antonio for the Spurs, right? It was about 2-3 months out when I found out about Victor. I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to fit that guy. And I kid you not, got a call. 3 months later, I was already in San Antonio. That's before the playoffs started. I'm fitting Bismarck Biombo, and I'm like, hey, I gotta get connected with this guy. He's like, man, that's my best friend. He's like, we'll figure out a way to do something, right? So I'm always one call away, and because of that, I show up, man. I don't have to have the answers, but I just show up. Yeah.
Albert Lukonga is just one call away. That's
Let's
the
go.
statement he said from Albert Couture. Boy, I could sit here and talk forever, but at some point we're going to get in this Sprinter van and we'll just drive right down the road to Lexington with a couple of me and my people, and we'll jump in there and say, hey, let's see what this is all about.
Oh my gosh, man. I cannot wait to have you guys. And I'll make sure my assistant reach out to you guys before, let you know what you guys like to eat and what you guys like to drink. We have it all prepped up for you guys. And it's gonna be a great time, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can see this. So, hey, what's the best place? We're going to tag all the socials and websites. What's the best place for people to come and see your work and really what you do? What's the one place?
Yes, sir. One place, it's my social is my personal Albert Lukonga. It's on Instagram, and you can so you can see some stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of my clients, 80% of my clients, are not public individuals, if you know what I mean. But whoever we posted there, they're like, we want to be public, let's do it. So you can find me on there. That's when you can personally reach out to me. I like to reply to my own messages, but when you go to the Albert Couture Instagram page, you're reaching out to the team. And then after that, man, the website has everything that you need.
Perfect. Hey, so when we came on, I think you can talk about the person. You had a jacket overhanging up. You spoke about it was for somebody in the restaurant business. I think you can talk about them. Everybody knows that you dress it. Can you take us back to that, Mr. Ruby? Can you take us back to that one? Are we allowed to see it before you give it to him?
Yeah, you can actually. That one actually is a sample piece. Let me bring it up. Should I bring it up?
Yeah, bring it up.
This is Mr. Ruby. This is So he was supposed to get this for his Hall of Fame, Cincinnati Hall of Fame, Business Hall of Fame, and we ended up making him doing something else. So this is a hand made, I'll say, dinner jacket, but you could also have it as a black tie. So it's like a tuxedo. So you could have that as a tuxedo. But then this stuff here, for example, and these things here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. It's all hand stitched. Took about a month to do. One person doing this. And the inside is red. He's a big red guy. So I did that. I did some diamond lines in there because he's a big diamond guy. He just likes those two colors. And his restaurants are super lavish. Jeff Ruby Steakhouse. Now, I'm showing you this because he is super thorough, super specific. He used to have a client named Manuel somewhere in Nashville, and that guy used to design for Elvis Presley. He used to do the dusters and all that stuff. So he had, obviously, unfortunately, all those guys are all gone now. So he's been looking for that next guy who can, get almost to that level where he can design for. I was like, so like, the fact that he trusts me, he trusts that I can deliver, I can pull that off, man. It almost reminds me like if Elvis Presley was still around, could have been designing for Elvis Presley, himself. So those things matters. And man, and it's a headache, but it's an obsession for me for what I do. Everything that I do is an obsession, because if you're not obsessed with this stuff, man, you could be super overwhelmed because it's super detailed things. And like you got to remember the buttons that Mark Perkins ordered while you're doing this as well, right? And while you're doing other stuff. And your team, you are the designer, so they rely on you. And you got to be able to release that information as quickly as possible and thorough as possible. So the client comes back 2 months later and they're happy, not upset. Yeah. But I got some serious issues though, but it's fine. We learn from that.
Yeah. So hey guys, Albert Lukonga, Albert Couture from Kentucky's first luxury fashion house. And what I love is, I love being underestimated. And when people in the past would hear you're from Kentucky, they're like, what? Aren't you from Paris or New York, right? Or from LA or from Vegas or Miami. I love when we're underestimated, because it gives us an opportunity to show what we're capable of as humans and what's possible. So kudos for doing this, man, from Lexington, Kentucky, from just bringing this worldwide brand home. I'm pumped to follow you. We're going to come out and see you, but I'm pumped to see what you already accomplished, the next place you're going to go. And I'm watching for the moment.
Let's go.
That the royal family.
Let's go.
And James Bond.
Let's go. And let's go, man. Let's get the Emmys. Let's get the Tonys Award. Let's do everything. But we're gonna do it right here, Mark.
Love it, man. Hey, thanks for coming on. We're gonna follow you and get back to making all that big money, man. Because isn't time money? I mean, isn't it really? As we wrap up here,
time is money, and the bills are not gonna wait. Yeah.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll get down there and see you, but congrats on all the success.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, and starting to really live the dream that that you probably laid out for yourself in the past.
Man, thank you so much. God bless you for such, time, for having me here, the love and support that you've offered me, man. I will never forget. I
Awesome.
appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Thank you.